I thought I'd go through some of the books I read in February. This will be a little bit shorter of a video than the one from January because I didn't get around to reading as many books. But the ones I did read were incredible. So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into that and I will see you in a second. So first up, we actually have a proof. So I got this recently and the tagline instantly drew me in, so I had to read it immediately. And that is Ready or Not. And I was not ready for this book. Let me tell you, the plot twists in this are insane. Like, it's so good. It's told with a somewhat unreliable narrator and multiple timelines. It goes back in time to an event that happened during the summer when someone from the friendship group went missing. This is the kind of thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat, that you won't be able to put down, and whose ending will punch you in the gut. And I don't really think I want to say more than that. But if you love kind of Holly Jackson or any of those kind of authors, you're going to adore this. It is relatively short, which is quite good because you won't be able to put it down. And yeah, the ending of this, like, I feel I'm emotionally not okay, in the best way, but yeah. Plus, like, it's orange, which further says that my obsession with orange leads to great books. So next up, we have a book that I am sure is going to take the YA fantasy world by storm. It's absolutely incredible. It is another proof, but don't worry, it comes out in March, so you don't have long to wait, and that is This Beauty. Now, I finished this so quickly because I just could not put it down. It's absolutely incredible. It's a YA military focused fantasy that will stay with you for so long. The book itself follows our main character, who is a 15-year-old hidden Saigon who has magical powers but has to hide those from the world. She's conscripted as a child soldier for a regime that's taken over her continent and her world decades before. I honestly cannot recommend this highly enough. It's filled with revenge and the realities of war and military service, and how in a society where your people are demonized and everyone is pitted against each other, friendships are hard to find. Nobody can trust each other, and therefore friendships and relationships are really fraught, and this explores that beautifully. The tagline itself is incredible, and that's "Monsters are not born, they are made." It's just so good. The characters are fully fleshed out. Like, even the side characters I adore. You desperately want everyone to make it. It's such a good book. The magic, the world, the characters, the plot line, and this cover is gorgeous. Again. Next up, we have a reread for me, and that is in Into the Crooked Place. Now, anyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with this duology and this author, and let me tell you, the reread is just as good as it was the first time around. The tagline for this is "The realms make monsters of us all." The characters in this I adore. The world I adore. There is nothing about this book that I do not like. I will reread this forever. I can't see a time where I won't want to reread this. This is a pure comfort read for me. But Into the Crooked Place features 4 crooks. Now, they are forced together in circumstances which make them rather reluctant saviours of their home. And watching this kind of found family come together in circumstances that put everything they want to protect on the line is incredible. The characters themselves are amazing. The banter between characters is great. Like, I love them all so much. They're so good. These crooks have my heart. Within the world that we encounter, magic can be traded and learned. It's much like a currency, and obviously where there's a chance to make money, a dark underbelly exists, and this is where we first encounter our four crooks before they have to go on a journey. Now, this is the first in a duology, and I've read both of them and I love them both. But if you love kind of Six of Crows, anything with a family dynamic with kind of, I don't want to say morally grey, but they are characters, you're going to adore this, and I will forever reread it and be obsessed with it. So if you haven't picked it up yet, I promise you it's worth it. Anything that I would read her shopping list at this point, but yeah, if you haven't read this yet, please do check it out. Next up we have this beauty, and that is A Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This was actually one of my most kind of anticipated fantasy releases for the year, and it has not disappointed. I adored it. So Daughter of the Moon Goddess is inspired by the Chinese moon goddess and follows our main character's quest to free her mother. But that's not a simple task, and it pits her against the most powerful immortals in the realm. This book is gorgeous. It's lyrically written, it feels like a mythical fairy tale. The characters are incredible. So is the Chinese mythology that's explored in this, and our main character is such a badass that, you know, she will do anything for her family, and the relationships that occur across the kind of breadth of this book will, like, they're so good. Like, you are rooting for her the entire way, and it's a beautiful book, both outside and in, and the legend it explores is incredible, and it's incredible. It's been so well done. If you haven't read this, please do. It is wonderful. You know, what more can you want than a bit of Chinese mythology with a woman on a quest to save her family with immortals standing in the way? Do I need to say more? I don't think I do. Next up we have Aftershocks, and I really don't want to tell you too much about this because I didn't know a lot going into it, and I think that's the best way. Aftershocks unapologetically explores grief, not only its effects on an individual, but a family and a community. This is part coming of age, part ghost story, and part exploration of family and relationships. Aftershocks follows our main character, Louis, who has lost his own brother. He then ends up in an isolated region in which tragedy strikes and ghosts rise, and it kind of follows his and his father's and mother's and the community in which the tragedy has arisen, and ways of dealing with grief, and explores how everybody deals with grief in different ways. It's a beautiful book and well worth a read. Next up we have Little Thieves. Now, I did start this earlier last year and then I put it down and didn't get back to it, so I've reread the entirety of this book. Now, this is a retelling of Goose Girl, which is probably not the most famous fairy tale, but it is a really good one. This is all about stolen lies and thorny truths and wicked girls. Obviously, like many retellings, this retelling is told from the point of view of the antagonist, the villain of the story, and it is incredible. The concept of this is there's two main characters, I guess I could say. We have a princess and her maid. Now, the maid decides that she's going to abandon her princess, steal her pearls, and by doing so, steal her life. So we have a maid masquerading as a princess and a princess kind of shoved out of her own life. And this kind of explores that and follows the story. This is a great fairy tale. It's got creepy wood vibes, like we have two grandparents who are Death and Fortune that just add something incredible to the story and help explore families and feelings and relationships at the same time. This book is great. If you like your darker fairy tales, you're going to adore this. I love it, and I mean the cover is beautiful, and it starts, the first line is absolutely incredible. Once upon a time, on the coldest night of midwinter in the darkest heart of the forest, Death and Fortune came to a crossroads. I mean, come on. And I mean, this book is beautiful. It's told in different parts and each part has its own illustration. So if you haven't picked this up and you do like kind of fairy tale retellings, especially the slightly darker ones, this is definitely one for you. So do check it. And lastly, we have the YA book club pick for this month, which was / is The Ivory Key. This is incredible. The concept of this book is great. So magic is a prized resource in this world. It runs everything from the lights to the border defences, and sadly it's the only thing that can prevent war and keep invading forces at bay. Sadly, by the time our 4 siblings are in charge of the country, magic's running out and they have the only chance to save their land and themselves from invading forces is to come together and find a new source of magic. However, each of these siblings has a different agenda, they all have hidden secrets, and it's not the happiest family dynamic ever, which leads to an incredible plot, some great dialogue, and an incredible exploration of kind of family relationships. I don't want to say a lot more about this because I will be interviewing the author soon, and I'll be sure to let you know when that's going up on this channel. But again, it's another YA fantasy that is just absolutely incredible. There's a looming threat of wars, family dynamics, royal protocol, a magic system that is just so cool. Even objects can hold magic in this world, and you know, that's such a cool concept. So if you haven't picked this up, please do. It is incredible and it is the first in a series, but you know, I loved it. That's it for February. I didn't read as many books as I would have liked to, but I did read quite a few, so it's not too bad. I think I'm on like 21 books that I've read for the year so far, which is good going. Like, that's impressive. We're only in month 2, but there's so many amazing books that are coming out at the moment that I can't quite keep up, and that stresses me out. I keep adding books to my TBR knowing that there is a million books on it already. But you know, we'll get there in the end. Please let me know if you've read any of these books already or if you're interested in any of them, and I will see you next time. Bye!